A deadly discovery after a woman was found dead inside a van in Fort Lauderdale.
The back windows of the van appeared to be shot out.
This is on-course shooter who opened fire on I-95, leaving an SUV riddled with bullets and the two people inside dead.
Loved ones believe one of the victims was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
The Broward Sheriff's Office making a big bust, arresting 8 suspected gang members involved in violent crimes and even murder.
I can tell you investigators are still working on getting a description of the shooter or shooters and what may have been their getaway vehicle. If you have any information that can help detectives in this case, you're urged to call the Fort Lauderdale Police Department.
I feel like every time somebody starts blowing up in one part of the city, they just go to hating and start happening, you feel me? What's the little bro name? Wisdom. The Kodak had signed him. As friends, like I knew Wiz personally, so it's like he from Hollandale, he blew up, and then unfortunately he ended up getting killed.
The Hot Boys, also known as Grand Mafia, are one of the most violent and dangerous gangs wreaking havoc in South Florida. The Broward Sheriff's Office has recently arrested 8 members of the gang. Over the years, countless lives have been lost due to the violence linked to Grand Mafia. Following years of bloodshed and months of investigation, the Broward Sheriff's Office, the Gang Investigations Task Force, the Broward State Attorney's Office, and other law enforcement agencies have collaborated to bring charges against 8 suspected gang members. These individuals face a 33-count indictment, including charges for murder, attempted murder, and racketeering. In 2021, rapper Wiz da Wizard was discovered dead in front of a home in Hallandale Beach, Broward County, Florida. A passerby walking their dog came across his body in the front yard. Police later determined that Wiz da Wizard, whose real name was Wisdom Williams, had been killed elsewhere before his body was left at the scene. For a long time, the individuals responsible for the murder remained unknown. However, HMT Trey has now been officially charged with the killing of Wiz da Wizard.
A body was found early Friday morning. Hallandale Beach Police tells us they found a man dead near Northwest 6th Terrace and Northwest 10th Street. Investigators say they do suspect foul play. Whether the man was killed in the location he was found or if his body was brought here after the fact, that's still unclear. Local 10 arrived on scene where a large crowd of people gathered near the yellow crime scene tape. Some people comforting each other, others standing around watching, waiting for information. Our cameras were rolling when one man decided to cross the yellow tape because he wanted to see the deceased body of his family member. Police tried to stop him and things escalated. Multiple people crossed the tape. Eventually, officers were able to clear the area of the crime scene. Broward County Sheriff's Office showed up to assist.
Annalise Garcia joins us live. She's at that scene now with some breaking details for us. Annalise.
Okay. Yeah, I sent that.
Christy, Janice, we got here about an hour ago in the middle of a lot of commotion. We were on the other side of this crime scene where about 100 people were gathered waiting for answers on this person who was found dead. Now, we are hearing from these people that we were speaking to on that side over there that the deceased is well known in the neighborhood. As for official confirmation to who he is, we're waiting for police to tell us.
The multi-agency investigation began after Sigmund Brown's fingerprint was found on a car linked to a homicide that occurred on January 20th, 2024, at the Best Buy on Sunrise Boulevard in Plantation. Investigators from the Broward Sheriff's Office, gang task forces, and the State Attorney's Office were already familiar with Brown, who was identified as the leader of the notorious Dania Beach Gang. Many of the murders in Broward County from 2021 through 2024 were found to be connected. The coordinated operation led to the arrests of 8 individuals, including key gang leaders, and solved 8 homicides, as well as over a dozen attempted murders across the county.
Well, those 8 remain in jail, Elliot. 5 of them were in court today. They entered not guilty pleas. The Broward Sheriff's Office Gang Task Force says their crime spree stretches back 2.5 years, and the families of the victims are still grieving.
He was a love kid.
As balloons were released in his son's memory early this year, Terrence Farrington's father had one message.
Put the guns down. I preach it every day. I should teach it to my son.
His son, Terrence Farrington Jr., was shot and killed last January outside a Best Buy store near the Sawgrass Mills Mall.
Whoever gets on board is going to get a call out.
Now, 10 months later, after Farrington's murder, investigators say some of the shooters connected to the crime were in court. The Broward Sheriff's Office Gang Task Force said these 8 belong to a group called the Dania Hot Boys. They say the gang's leader, this man, Sigmund Brown's fingerprint, was found in a car at the Best Buy crime scene. They say they have tied guns, ammunition, and credit cards to the crime spree. And BSO said the gang's killing spree stretches back to June 2021. 7 other murders across Broward are tied to the gang members.
In 2023, Antoine DeBard was fatally shot in Pembroke Pines. Ronaldo Dorner and Terry McKenzie were both killed near the Interstate 95 highway in Fort Lauderdale on May 9, 2023. According to the Broward Sheriff's Office, these homicides were all linked to the Grand Mafia gang. Authorities believe the intended target was not in the car at the time, but the gang members opened fire regardless.
Yeah, what happened here is just horrifying. Tonight we spoke to a family member of one of the victims who tells me she spoke to her cousin moments before the tragedy. Tonight she's wondering why and who would do this.
I told her to be safe. You know, I love her. And then we woke up to this. It's a dream, it's a nightmare.
Asking us to protect her identity, this Coral Springs woman says she spoke to her youngest cousin, 21-year-old Terry McKenzie, just moments before she was murdered. Police, seen in this surveillance video, speeding to the scene on the Sunrise Boulevard ramp to 95 northbound just before 2:30 Tuesday morning. Officers finding this white Mercedes SUV covered in bullet holes. Inside was Mackenzie and 23-year-old Ronaldo Donner. Both were killed. The crime scene covered with nearly 100 evidence markers. Investigators believe the vehicle started being shot at on West Sunrise Boulevard before coming to a tragic halt on the ramp.
I will never see my cousin again.
Mackenzie's family telling us they only knew Donner as one of Terry's friends.
Terry was in a nursing program. Terry was the life of the party. Whoever did this, you broke our family. If you know that you did this and you know that, just turn yourself in.
So this latest incident adds itself to a list of gun violence cases that we've covered taking place along the interstate so far this year.
Wayne Smith, who was shot in Hallandale Beach, succumbed to his injuries on July 15, 2023. Dorothy Smart, the mother of popular rapper Psycho Bob, a close associate of Kodak Black, was shot and killed in the driveway of her Fort Lauderdale home.
Things in this Fort Lauderdale neighborhood really quiet now, but last night this was a very busy scene, and I've spoken with family members of this victim. They tell me they are absolutely heartbroken today. Let's take you back to that scene last night, right around 6 p.m. Fort Lauderdale police say they responded to the home on Northwest 30th Way and 21st Street, where we're standing right now. They found a woman shot in the front seat of a van right in the driveway here. The woman was pronounced dead on the scene, and the detectives began their investigation, working the area for any evidence of what may have happened here or why this woman was targeted. Now, we have been able to confirm through family and neighbors, this woman was named Dorothy Smart. She went by Dee Dee. Neighbors say she was a lovely person, an absolutely great person to be around. We have also confirmed she is the mother of South Florida rapper Psycho Bob. We're trying to get more information about exactly what happened here. We have been able to confirm no arrests have been made.
The most recent victim, Johnny Henderson, was shot and killed on January 28, 2024, in Miramar.
Suspected gang members are off the streets today, arrested in connection to multiple murders that stem back as far as 2021, including the murder of a 17-year-old. His name was Johnny Henderson, and this happened in Miramar, and it was earlier this year. NBC6's Bree Buckley spoke with Johnny's mother about the break in this case and joins us live in Miramar. Bree, emotional update for her, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. She said it's just been such a tough year for her and her whole family, but she's thankful that someone was caught and hopefully getting justice for Johnny. That 17-year-old was murdered in a drive-by shooting here on University Drive in Miramar just at the beginning of the year.
I always call him a smart child because Every time he asks me for something, he'll say, "Oh, Mom, can you get me this? And you don't gotta buy me this. If you just get me a shirt and don't give me the pants." That's smart, ain't it? That means you only gotta buy one thing.
Nikisha Young remembers her 17-year-old son, Johnny Henderson, as smart, funny, loving, and her football player. He was sadly killed when a white sedan pulled up next to him and shot into his car on University Drive in Miramar on January 28th, killing him and critically injuring his girlfriend, who was in the car with him. On Wednesday, BSO announced the arrest of 8 alleged gang members in connection to his murder, as well as 32 other counts of murder, attempted murder, and racketeering.
They took a great person away from me. And this year, it's been rough. I'm not gonna lie, it has been rough. And I just thank God that he was able to give me justice for Johnny. And they didn't get away with it.
BSO says this was part of a months-long investigation into unsolved cases across Broward County. Authorities say the group are all gang members of the Dania Hot Boys gang, also called Grand Mafia. They are Sigmund Brown, Kavaris Johnson, Gerard Charles, Vondarius Davis, Tyreek Jackson, Gerald McCabe, Trayvon Key, and just 16 years old, Raja Roll. Here's a timeline of the murders they're accused of. First, on September 16th in 2021, Wisdom Williams was shot and killed. His body was found in Halladale Beach. Then on April 9th, 2023, Antoine Dobard was shot and killed in Pembroke Park. On May 9th, 2023, Vernaldo Donner and Terry McKenzie were both shot and killed near I-95 in Fort Lauderdale. Police say the group's intended victim wasn't even in the car. Then on July 15th of 2023, Wayne Smith was shot in Hallandale Beach, dying days later. On September 13th, 2023, Dorothy Smart was shot and killed in the driveway of her home in Fort Lauderdale. And this year, on January 20th, Terrence Farrington Jr. was shot and killed at a Best Buy in Plantation. Sigmund Brown's fingerprints were allegedly found on a car that launched this entire sting. Just a week later, on January 28th, Johnny Henderson was the most recent victim, and hopefully their last.
Yeah, you took my son away from me. I forgive you. But God got the last say so. And I just thank God that y'all got caught. And you thought you was gonna get away with it, but you didn't.
Each suspect is being held without bond. If convicted, they could be facing the death penalty.